Of course, people are unhappy. If you don't put yourself out there, if you don't go out to the world with an open heart, but with boundaries. I'm not just saying take whatever is thrown at you. You need to have boundaries. You need to have certain expectations. But if you don't go out into the world with an open heart, you keep closing your heart off, of course, you're not going to find love. Of course, you're not going to find that companionship that you want. Love requires a certain level of courage. And not everyone has that. Hello and welcome to Kitchen Table Advice. My name is Paula and I am the host of this podcast. This podcast is a place where you can ask for any advice you want. It can be relationship, both platonic or romantic, career advice, or life advice. I wanted to create a space where people could ask questions without fear of rejection. I can't guarantee it'll be good advice, but I can guarantee there'll be no shame on my end. Your name will be anonymous and your identity will always be kept a secret. This is not professional advice, and I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist, and you are under no obligation to take this advice. Just think of this as advice you would get from a close friend on a kitchen table. So, let's begin. Hello, my wonderful gems. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're a returning gem, welcome back. If you're new here, hello, how are you doing? Make sure you test out the vibe, and if you like what you're listening to, then please feel free to subscribe and like this video. Alright, as usual, we just jump into the first story of the episode. And this first story, I think a lot of people can relate to this. And the title is, How Can I Stop Basing My Self-Worth on Male Attention / Validation of My Appearance? Alright, this is a long one, so grab a glass of water, grab tea or any drink you like, and we'll just jump in. Finding self-confidence has always been an uphill battle for me. I have a lot of trouble believing that my worth is internal. I've always felt like I've had to learn love and worthiness from external forces. I've been in a few unhealthy relationships, but never a genuine, healthy, reciprocal one. But it's a dream of mine to be in one. As such, I feel like I've stumbled into a dangerous path of overexerting myself in order to get male attention. I have a lot of anxiety and bad habits from my previous relationship, which I'm trying to sort through in therapy. My most recent ex never explicitly called me unattractive, but made a lot of subtle put-downs about my appearance and insecurities that he would follow up and disguise as compliments. So I'm guessing he was just giving you a backhanded compliment, okay? I've dated on and off for a couple of years, and I've realized that I need to take a break. Every rejection leads to a massive hit on my self-esteem, and I know that I need to sort that out before I try again. That said, in the past, I haven't had trouble getting matches on dating apps, but I've only ever been approached for my number in public once. I understand that appearances aren't the end-all be-all, but in the past couple of months, I feel like I've become vain to the point of absurdity. I've deluded myself into thinking that because I'm never approached by men in public, I must be thoroughly unattractive. That's not true. Okay, that is not true. To tell you the truth, men are actually scared to approach women to some degree because they don't want to be rejected. Just like you, when you get rejected, you feel like it's a massive hit on your self-esteem. They also get a hit. And let me just finish. You're not unattractive. So I feel like I have to be as beautiful as possible in order to be worthy of love. I feel like I'm hyper analyzing every aspect of myself to figure out why I don't get attention from men in public. Again, they're just as scared as you. And it always ends with me putting myself down. It's gotten to the point where I have anxiety about going out with my friends. I can't enjoy myself because I'm constantly comparing my appearance to them, along with the amount of attention they might receive instead of me. It's petty, jealous, and downright ridiculous, but I'm having trouble holding my own when I feel so inferior to them. I'm constantly fretting about my weight, my skin, threading my face, doing my makeup right, and etc., to the point where it's distressing. I understand that insecurity is unattractive, but it feels incredibly difficult to overcome. I'm physically healthy and active. I make time for things I enjoy, and I have a good job, and a loving family, and an active social life. In spite of it all, I don't feel beautiful or worthy. I feel like I'm dependent on the prospect of male validation of my appearance alone. And I know it's not good. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Wow. Should we just jump in or should I take a break? You know what? I just feel like jumping in. And what you said about not being approached by men in public, most women don't actually, well, maybe not most, but compared to previous generations, I think I read this in an article, you can find it out. But most people are not really getting approached in public like that as they used to. Back in the day, it was the only way to really approach people. But now, everyone is scared. Just like you feel like there's a hit on your self esteem when you get rejected, men also feel like there's a hit on their self esteem when they get rejected. That's why I think there's a, well, this isn't new, but there's some dating coaches or people online who said you need to kind of, back in the day, the lady would throw the handkerchief so that the guy would go in, pick up the handkerchief, and feel like, okay, now this is his time to, I guess, ease up on the conversation. But people are scared to communicate. Lately, it feels like everyone is just scared to communicate. They don't want to put themselves out there, both men and women. It's not just one gender. And for you, you may think your friends are getting what approach, but maybe they don't really like the people they're getting approached for. Not all attention is good attention. I'm pretty sure as a woman you would know this. Like, not all male attention is good attention, even when it's based on your opinions. It's just like some people you're just like, please don't approach me. I don't care for it. So just because you think your friends are getting approached, maybe they don't really like the people who are approaching them. You never know. For every woman it's different. So which is why it's important to not base your self-worth on male validation. That's one. And especially when it's just appearance based, because your appearance can change in a second. I don't wish that on you, but your appearance can change in a second. You can be in a car accident, something bad can happen to you. I don't wish that on you, I do not. But something like appearance is so vain. And of course, you're getting a lot of hits on social media. There are different reasons as to why you're getting a lot of hits on social media. One is you are attractive and people feel more comfortable behind the screen to tell you you're attractive compared to, like I said, in public, people are like, they're scared to approach anyone. And even the beautiful people don't get approached as much as you may think they get approached. Maybe in a bar, after some people have a bit of alcohol or liquid courage, that's when they get approached. But lately, people are not getting approached as much, well, as they used to in the past. So don't base your attention. I mean, you already know it's a bad thing to base your self-esteem and your self-worth on attention, especially external factors and factors that you can't control. So I guess to kind of ease up your insecurities, I would just say we just live in a world where people are scared. People are scared of rejection, both men and women. People are scared of putting themselves out there, both men and women. And as a result, of course, people are unhappy. If you don't put yourself out there, if you don't go out to the world with an open heart, but with boundaries. I'm not just saying take whatever is thrown at you. You need to have boundaries. You need to have certain expectations. But if you don't go out to the world with an open heart, you keep closing your heart off, of course, you're not going to find love. Of course, you're not going to find that companionship that you want. Love requires a certain level of courage. And not everyone has that. And the first lesson in that is to learn that someone's rejection, and I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but like someone rejecting you has nothing to do with you. And I know it can be very difficult to understand this concept, but them rejecting you is because of whatever they're dealing with. There's several reasons as to why people may reject you. And yes, people are vain, and some people may just reject you because of your appearance. However, do you really want to be with someone who only sees you for your appearance and not the other facets of your life that you bring to the table? I've mentioned this before to you guys. Your appearance is not your identity. Your career is not your identity. The fact that you have wealth and money is not your identity. You are a well-rounded individual with different facets, different beliefs. You're not just the pretty girl or the smart girl or the hardworking career lady girl or the mom or the this. You're a lot of different stuff at the same time. If someone is just gonna look at one facet of your life and value you based on that facet, they're missing out on you. And you don't want to be in a union where you're only seen where only 2% of yourself is being seen when the other 98 is not being seen. I'm pretty sure you're a great conversationalist. You're funny. You have your own different sense of humor. You know how people have a different sense of humor. Some people may like it, some people don't. But once you find your people, when you find your tribe, you feel accepted. What is that? Sorry, I get distracted easily. Back to the humor. You have your own set of humor. You have your own set of beliefs. You have some, like, people are complex. And once we peel the layer and try to make it simple categories of attractive and not attractive, smart, not smart, curvaceous, not curvaceous, whatever, these dumb stuff, then we're actually going to try to find the person who you're looking for. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is something, if you're in a similar situation as this woman, then I'm pretty sure you know you cannot base your self-worth on male attention. That is one, but especially external factors beyond your control. Someone saying you're pretty is not like, listen, it doesn't hit as much as y'all think it does. Okay, someone saying you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're attractive, it's not the pinnacle of what you are worthy of. Is it a good thing? Yes. I'm not going to be like compliments are a bad thing. No, compliments are great. They make us feel good. Or they validate an aspect of ourselves we already know. But you should not be seeking external validation for your... External validation should not be where the core of your self-esteem should lie. You should already have that core. And someone validating it is just adding it, amplifying, multiplying it, not base your self-esteem and your self-worth on that. And again, you probably know this. If you've been on this channel for a while, you already know this. I've already told you guys this before. What validates you controls you. If you're validated by your career, someone may really ask you to do something shady for your career, but because you want to go up the ladder, you might do that. That's very scary. Same thing with your appearance. If you're validated by your appearance, once your appearance changes, no one gives you those compliments. Now you feel lesser than. If you're validated by the fact that you're a wife, oh my gosh, you may not live that abusive relationship because you don't want to divorce your husband and become an ex-wife or a single woman. It's like, I know it's difficult, and these external stuff are not bad by any means. I'm not telling you these things are bad. However, these are add-ons. This is not the main thing. The main thing is you. The main thing is finding yourself, your hobbies, your beliefs, your interests, what brings you joy in the world, what doesn't bring you joy, what you care for, and what you don't really give a damn about. That's the main thing. That is the core. That is the crux. That is the center. Everything else outside is outside. It's an add-on. It's a bonus. Do we like bonuses? Yes. But can we live without them? Absolutely. So you need to be very careful about where you place your validation, which is why I always tell you this. You need to find yourself. In finding yourself, you'll be able to validate yourself. You won't let your career define you. Even if it's an amazing career like a lawyer or doctor or engineer or anything, CEO, all of those, you won't let it define you, because I'm pretty sure after the pandemic, we've seen that careers go just like that. You won't let your relationship define you, so that if it does get abusive, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental abuse, you hop out of there really fast. You don't let... What else? You don't let your looks define you. So that, yes, let's say you were beautiful in your 20s, in your 30s, and even in your 40s, you're so great, but then you enter your 50s and people don't see you as attractive because of social, what is it called? The standard of beauty is younger, and now you're in your 50s and they think, oh, now you're a gremlin. It's like, this is so stupid. I can't actually give this advice with a straight face. It's like, I'm trying. Anyway, They think you're a gremlin, and now it's like, oh, your worth is non-existent because they are not attracted to you. This is so dumb. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that don't let these add-ons become your core. Your core is much more richer, much more worthy, much more expensive than you even think it is. Every single day, I'm finding new stuff about myself that I did not know were there. And it is amazing. And which is why my advice tends to be the same, because I'm slowly starting to realize that we have an issue with being ourselves. And what do I mean by that? It's like either we're unsure of who we are, so we're scared to explore that facet of ourselves, or everybody else in the outside has said we're not worthy enough, so we don't even want to look at ourselves to find what we really bring to the table. It's so weird, but lately I've been realizing that maybe one of the reasons is we are so scared of knowing that you may not be the person you think you are. Maybe you see yourself as a good person, and then you discover more by yourself and you think you're not as good as you thought you were. I mean, it's scary, and I can see how that can be scary, but it's in knowing yourself that you're actually going to have self-fulfillment, self-acceptance, all these self-stuff, reach Maslow's hierarchy of blah, blah, blah. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, really good advice. But yeah, self-actualization, reaching all those pinnacles in life that very few achieve because they don't see themselves as worthy. They keep relying on other people. And yes, we are humans. Relying on others is kind of how we have survived in this world. However, the answer also, as much as the answer lies outside, there's also an answer to a deeper question that lies within. And a lot of people don't get to really find out who they are. And I think that's really sad. But yes, that is my advice on that. Obviously, you know by now, if you've been on this channel, I'm going to tell you, don't seek external validation, especially male validations. And if you listen to the last episode, I'm starting to realize that most men, and some women as well, they don't really know what they want. They really don't. Okay? Like, everyone here is a headless chicken. I'm so just like, people are walking around with these ideas that were implemented in them either through social media, culture, or parents, and they think this is right until they find that one thing they really like that isn't right, and then now it shakes your whole world up. But yeah, where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going with that. But I am going to end on that. Just try to not have the core of your self-esteem be on your looks. You can still be proud of your looks by any means. I'm not saying don't go out looking like a bum. If you like wearing makeup, you like wearing certain clothes, they make you feel good, they make you feel confident, by all means do that. And if that brings you joy, that's great, that's fantastic. But like I said, this is an add-on. This is not the main. If we think of it as a tree, this is not the roots. These are the branches or the fruit that makes the tree beautiful, but this is not the root, this is not the core, this is just extra. The extra is good, yes, but can you live without it? Can a tree survive without flowers and fruits? Yes, it can. Maybe not leaves, but yeah. So just food for thought is what I would say. And if you're trying to move away from external validation to internal validation, you're going to have to sit with yourself. You're going to have to sit with yourself, and you're going to have to try to find out what you like and what you dislike in this world. And yes, there are some facets of yourself you're not going to like. I'm not going to tell you you're going to like every single thing about yourself. I will never lead you down that road. I'm always going to tell you the truth. Are there some facets of yourself you're not going to like? Absolutely. Are there some facets of yourself you're absolutely going to enjoy and love and think and never even thought you were capable of? Yes. Are there some stuff about yourself you could more or less care about it? Yeah. That's because you're a well-rounded individual. You have different facets of your life, different beliefs. You come with different ideas. And sometimes someone presenting an idea to you can unlock a part of yourself you didn't really know was there. That's what makes life so fun and also difficult at the same time. It's very difficult, but at the same time, it's fun learning new stuff. At least I think it's fun learning new stuff. Some people may not like it, but it's fun learning new stuff, and especially when it's about you. You want to travel this world knowing, if you don't know anything about the world is full with so much information, so much stuff that people are vying for our attention. But if there's one thing in the world that I think you should learn about, it should be you. You come first. You are important. You are worthy. With or without whatever society deems attractive, with or without whatever society deems as smart, with or without whatever society deems as whatever. There are categories for everything nowadays. But even if you peel out all the layers, you peel off all the add-ons and the bonuses, at the end of the day, the center is you, and you are worthy. It just is what it is. And you need to delve deep and find out what within your soul makes you worthy. And it's not as scary as you think it may be. There's some stuff you're not going to like about yourself. Yes. Yes, there are. There's some stuff you are going to love about yourself. Yes, there are. There's some stuff you won't really care for. Yes, there are. But in a sense, you have to accept all of them. And don't push away the stuff you dislike, because you will be surprised by how much. You'll be surprised, because there are times when those stuff you don't like about yourself come out and it sets the record straight. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah. So I would just end this advice here, and I really do hope you, if you're in a similar situation, I really do hope you don't try to base your validation on external factors, on male approval or male attention. It might make you feel great, but it's a temporary satisfaction. We've all been there. A cute guy or cute girl giving us attention. It feels good. It feels great. But then after, when they're gone, you're back with you. At the end of the day, you're always going to be with you. And if you're not comfortable being with you, if you're not going to give yourself validation, then that is a problem. It just is a problem. But yeah. I hope I was kind of rambling, so I hope I was clear on that advice. But yeah, we are going to take a break right now and come back with the second story of the episode. Alright, so we are back with the second story of the episode, and I guess we're just going to be working on the self-worth area this episode. But back with the second story. The title is, How Can I Build My Own Self-Worth After Years of Chasing Men? Chase men. But here we go. Hello, I'm a 29-year-old woman, and I've been in a down mode for almost 2 to 3 days, and I haven't gotten out of my room. The reason? A guy. We were on and on FWB for years. He was very toxic, manipulative, sexist, and nog, selfish doing intimacy, call his ex crazy, etc. I accepted a lot of things that he has done and said to me in the past. I know I shouldn't have, but I know I have low self-esteem and self-worth. I never had a supportive father, parentheses, even though he tries now, but he was abusive to us, so that dad-daughter bridge is broken for life. My mom was doing 2 jobs, so she didn't have time to be super there emotionally for me. I was a petrified daughter, and now she tries to be better. Back to now, I've been feeling down because I'm somewhat mad that he never wanted a real relationship, even though I was always there for him. Even when he was extremely depressed, parentheses, no job, stayed home all day, etc. Now he told me that he was seeing someone while talking to me and asking for nudes. Wow. Back in the day, he would always send mixed signals. Okay, we were like boyfriend and girlfriend without the title, or boyfriend and girlfriend. I know I shouldn't want/expect to be with him, but I guess for so long I wanted men, parentheses, and this guy to see my worth. I'm 29 and I've never been in what I would call a real relationship. Still living with Still living with my mom due to the cost of living being so high, and went back to college to get a degree. It does have a toll on me because most people might in my age who are well in their career, they either have a boyfriend or husband and travel a lot. So, how do I build my own self worth? How can I be gentle to myself? We just jump into the advice. I think after when people have been in relationship like this, especially with someone who was so verbally abusive to them and didn't see their word, or maybe belittled them, didn't make them feel like they were enough, I think it's important. The first step is to forgive yourself. As much as that person is a bad person, we can acknowledge that, and they're no good for you. But I think a second step is accepting that this is just who they are. They're not good for you. And the second step after that is forgiving yourself. Because again, we can be so hard on ourselves when we go through stuff like this. And especially when, like you said, you haven't had a childhood with parents who it seems like they didn't emotionally invest in you. Yes, your mom was there for you financially, and your dad was absent, but now he's trying to be in your life. I understand that, but it seems like you were not given that emotional care that other children were given. And as a result, you may have allowed something in your life that you shouldn't have. And now you're realizing that you allowed this person in your life when they didn't belong. And it can be very detrimental where we start feeling like we were stupid for not putting up with this, we were stupid for not standing up. So I think it's very important after we've acknowledged that this person is bad and they're not going to change for you. They just saw you as an object, and they just wanted something else from you. They didn't want they didn't want a quote unquote real relationship with you. They just wanted something else. Whereas you want a real relationship with you, and you decided to put yourself first now. And I think the first step is acknowledging that this is they're not a good person for you, and you need to detach from them. And the second part is forgiving yourself. You can't watch out for something you don't know. If or even if you do know, but because of your upbringing, it kind of it kind of skews your vision into what a good and healthy partner is supposed to look like. Like it is so unfortunate, but it seems like the crux of most of relationship trauma tend to stem from childhood. And it can be either because your parents didn't give you enough attention, or your parents were abusive, or, external family members that may not be your direct parents or mother and father did something. And skew our vision as to how we should give love and how we should accept love, or even the question of what love is and how it should present itself onto us. And I think it's very important for you to forgive yourself for not knowing, or even if you saw the quote unquote red sign, even if you saw the quote unquote red flag, due to your upbringing, due to your childhood, it kind of blinded you to those flags. So it's not your fault. I think it's important for you to know that it is not your fault, and it's important for you to forgive yourself for being in this type of relationship. And after you have accepted that this is not the right partner for you, and after you have forgiven yourself for going through this is when you can start to find the life lessons in this relationship. As horrible as it was, and as horrible as an encounter as it was, and even though we can all agree you should have never been in this relationship, there's always something to learn. And I think it's in those steps that you're going to slowly start building up your self-worth, where you will accept in a romantic relationship or even in a platonic relationship, sometimes even with family members, and what you will tolerate and not tolerate, what you will compromise on and not compromise on. I think this is an unfortunate way to learn, but I think you can learn if you're in a similar relationship, or this is you. I think there's definitely a lesson here to be learned so that you do not find yourself in a relationship like this again a second time or third time, or for some people a fourth time. We're not judging here. Sometimes we need to learn lessons more than once for it to be able to really enter our brain and realize that you are better than this situation. You are better than how this person is treating you. You're better than someone just flying off the handle and yelling whenever they want to relieve stress. They put that stress on you. You're better than that. You are not an object for their desire, their anger, or whatever weird twisted thing they have in their head. You're not a what's it called? You're not a vessel for that. You're not there to just be on the receiving end of whatever they decide to throw at you. Relationships are give and take. Sometimes you're going to give, and sometimes you're going to take. That is what a healthy relationship looks like. They're supportive. At that times you won't be as supportive because you're dealing with something. Absolutely. There are also times when your partner won't be as supportive because they're dealing with something. That's when you compromise. But if it's always you supporting, them never supporting, them yelling at you, or you yelling, or whatever, I think it's very important for us to know that this is not a conducive environment. And especially if you feel like this is not conducive, you feel stagnant, you feel like you're not going anywhere, that's kind of how you know you're in a toxic environment. You feel shackled, you feel stagnant, and you feel like you're not advancing. Matter of fact, you're regressing or you're staying still. That's how you kind of know you are in a toxic environment. I think it's important for us to, again, acknowledge the fact that yes, this has happened to you, accept it for what it was, and accept that person as the no good person they were, okay? Or the nog that they were, or the manipulative person that they were, and that they're not going to change for you, and you need to forgive yourself for being in this type of environment and then learning from the lesson of what this is. I think that is how you slowly start developing your own self-worth. It seems like you were not given that chance in your childhood where your parents nurtured you emotionally, where they can build your own self-worth. Because in an ideal world, it seems like it's in an ideal world nowadays because there's so much childhood trauma. But in an ideal world, your parents would invest in you. They would support you. There will be that rock, that pillar where, and slowly help you build your own self-esteem by giving you compliments, by supporting you, by being there. But unfortunately, not every single one of us goes through that. So now what happens when we're adults, we tend to tolerate stuff we shouldn't have tolerated. And we accept stuff we shouldn't have accepted. But now it seems like everyone is in this new age of boundaries, expectations, non-negotiables, where if you were in these type of toxic relationships, you might feel as though, damn, I'm not really living up to my full potential. And instead of those words inspiring you to set boundaries in your relationship, to set non-negotiable, and instead can make you feel bad, like it seems as though I didn't care enough about myself, I didn't want better for myself. And it can kind of make you feel bad, like, well, dang, maybe I'm not living up to my full potential. And instead of, Instead of shining the situation on the on the manipulative person, you start shining the situation onto you because of your low self-esteem. You tolerated this because of your insecurities. You tolerated this. Yes, that can be true, but two things can be true at the same time. You can have low self-esteem, and they can also be a manipulative, narcissistic person that does not need to be in your life any more than they have. So I think it's very important to first accept that person for how they present themselves in your life. I'm really big on accepting people for the way they present themselves. Okay. Accept that person for how they present in their life. This does not mean you agree with their behavior. This does not mean you agree with the ideas or whatever they have in mind. You just accept them for how they present themselves. Forgive yourself for being in a situation that was so toxic to your growth, to your upbringing, to you becoming your best self. and then slowly learning from this relationship. And that can be really, that is the forgiving yourself and the learning from the relationship part is very, very difficult. And I commend like and it's very difficult. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take a lot of crying sessions, okay? But once you fully see the picture for what it is, I think that's how you can start building up your boundaries, building up your non-negotiables, building up what you would tolerate and not tolerate, building all those stuff up. And then it's in that process of building stuff up and slowly finding yourself that you will build your own self-worth. Basically, from both of these stories, your self-worth lies in you finding yourself. It lies in you knowing who you are. It can be very difficult because we all have different life experiences, but it does lie in you accepting the stuff that happened to you. This does not mean this does not mean you're the perpetrator. This does not mean that person is not a bad person. It just means you accept it for what it was and forgive yourself for how you showed up in a relationship or didn't show up. Maybe you were the aggressor. Some people are the aggressors. And sometimes some people are the aggressive party, or they were just the compliant party because they thought if they bended enough, then this person was going to in turn show them love, show them appreciation, and validation. So I think it's important to accept the relationship for what it was, forgive yourself for the part you played in the relationship or the part you didn't play in the relationship, and then look at the learning lesson you can get from that. Yes, the accepting part can be difficult, but I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you the forgiving yourself part and the lesson learning part. Like, it's in those two parts that you're really going to start building your self-esteem up, building your self-worth up, and really knowing who you are. It's unfortunate that you had to learn this way. However, I would rather you learn this lesson once than twice or 3 times or 5. It happens. But hopefully you can learn. And I've said this before. I'm probably saying this. I think I've said this before, but your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your validation lies in you knowing yourself. You knowing what you like, you knowing what you dislike. You're not seeking external approval. You completely rooting yourself. You planting your roots within yourself. You knowing the core of who you are. You not looking for these bonuses or these add-ons that people give you, such as compliments, to make you feel worthy, but you knowing that you are a worthy person. You bring a lot to the table. You're funny, or you're a great conversationalist, or you're very supportive. And yes, it can also be you are pretty. There's nothing wrong with being beautiful or you thinking you're beautiful. However, you have to rely on external factors to say you're beautiful and you can function without it. That's where the problem lies. There's nothing wrong with you actually thinking, yeah, you're gorgeous in your heart. It's fine. But you just need to know that for yourself. And even when someone outside doesn't think you look good enough for them, you know that it lies with them. It's not a you thing, because you are beautiful, you're smart, you're a great conversationalist, you're a good daughter, you're an amazing friend, amazing and supportive friend. You are a lot of different people. You might be that wonderful entrepreneur or CEO or boss babe, whatever it is. But you can be all of those at once. So don't let people put you in boxes. Don't let people put you in boxes, and don't let the source of your self-esteem come from external factors. But yeah. So that is it for this episode, and please feel free to let me know what you think. Did you resonate with the first story or the second story, or both? because this is all about self-worth, self-love, and self-validation to eventually get to self-actualization. Lots of selves. But yeah, that is it for this story, and that is it for this episode. Please feel free to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then please feel free to leave us a review, preferably a 5-star review. And lastly, you can contact us on our email account, which is kitchentableadvice@gmail.com. We are more active on our email than on social media. So I would suggest, if you really want to get in touch with us, contact us. But yeah, that is it. And we'll see you next week. Bye.